Here's a question for you. How could you cope without social media for an entire month? Yes, an entire month. Britain's Royal Society for Public Health wants you to try to give it a try, declaring this month Scroll-Free September. And they're encouraging us to spend less time or even no time on sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram in September. And they think it will do all of us some good, especially with our mental health. The Royal Society for Public Health CEO Shirley Cramer joins me now. I have to admit, I love this idea. I've got kids who are glued to the phones, and admittedly, I have taken the phones away from them because they've been spending too much time on them. Talk to me about this initiative and what you're looking to accomplish.
So, well, this really started, Alison, about a year ago. We did a report called Social Media and Young People's Mental Health, #status of mind. And what we found was in polling and talking to young people that there were some really great benefits about social media, finding your community, getting great information. But we also found there were a huge amount of negative impacts on mental health, particularly anxiety, depression, bullying, of course, visions of missing out, so compare and despair on your accounts and other people's accounts. And we know in the UK certainly and globally that there's a real mental health crisis for young people. So the idea of the campaign of a Scroll-Free September is to get people to balance their social media, to get a more healthy relationship with it, and see if they take a whole month off. That could be cold turkey, taking the month from your social media, your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your Twitter, whatever. Or you could just decide to not take your phone to the bedroom with you, and then your sleeping would improve. Or not go on your social media after 6 o'clock. You'd be a night owl. Or be a social butterfly. Don't go on social media when you're with your friends. So there's loads of ways to participate in this campaign. But the idea is really that after a month, people will be able to consider, so how has it worked for me? Because we know after 2 hours on social media, which many, many young people do daily, that you are in danger of addiction and mental health problems.
So you're talking about baby steps, and that's a great idea. But how realistic is this? I mean, many of us have to be glued to our phones because of our jobs. Our kids, many of them in older years, let's say in the older middle school years, the high school years, their work assignments are on their phones or on their iPads. So it's hard to separate them from that.
So what we've said is that this is about personal social media. It's not about the things you might want to find out for school. It's not about the work you might do on your job. This is really personal social media, the things that you have choices about. And obviously most people need social media for work, but actually we have one suggestion called Busy Bee, which is when you're not on your social media, either at school or work, for your personal social media. And actually employers and schools might find that really, really useful, in that people will be much more engaged with school or their job. And I think parents have quite a big responsibility here, because we do understand that when parents role model being on their phone all the time, and if they're using the phone over dinner or in the evening all the time, then of course your children are going to follow your example. So though we're really targeting children and young people, actually it's for all of us, because we all possibly have an unhealthy relationship with our social media.
So you think even taking little bits of time off, people will be more reflective of how much time or too much time they're spending on it usually?
That's exactly right. So what we're doing over the month is getting people to report back to us on how they feel, how they've used that time. How did they find it? Were they most socially engaged? Did they read more books? Did they get a better night's sleep? And I think we've had a few indicators. Our shadow Secretary of State for Health happened to take August off social media and has already tweeted about this month about how much better he felt taking a break. So, you know, there are lots of ways you can tailor it. But our message is really that actually social media is addictive, that we have a lot of young people with mental health problems, and that this could help. This could really think about rebalancing your relationship. We really want to mitigate the negative effects on social media and really enhance the positive influences.
Okay, Shirley Cramer, I can't wait to see the results. Thanks so much for this initiative.